name is Ashley. I'm Madison McClellan, and I'll be doing your session with you today. I just wanted to let you know that everything that we say in this session is completely confidential, and that anything you say or I say won't be taken out of this session without your information. I have a few confidentiality forms right here, just to let you know our policies and everything, and for you to sign and give back to me at the end. So, yeah. So why don't you tell me a little bit about you and why you're here today?
My name is Ashley. I'm 28 years old. I have a wife named Jane, and we have 2 baby boys named Fred and George. I've actually been suffering lately, trying to feel meaningful. I've just felt really hopeless, and I felt kind of like a burden to my wife. I am actually a nurse, but I have not been at work for several months, ever since the boys were born. Yeah, I don't really know how to feel okay again. I was prescribed medication, but I haven't been taking it. I've just felt kind of lost lately. Don't really know what to do about it.
Okay, well, let's talk about your boys. How long ago was it that you had them?
It was 6 months.
Okay, and do you think that there could be a link between that and your anxiety and how it's been flaring up?
It definitely could be. I noticed it definitely got worse after I had the boys. I don't know, and the tension between me and Jane really got worse after we had the boys, for sure.
So, what kind of support system do you have besides your wife, Jane?
Well, I have a very supportive family. However, I don't get to see them a whole lot. They actually live in California. The last time that they were here was for the boys' birth 6 months ago. And Jane's family is very supportive of us, and they help out a lot. However, it's not the same. I do have some friends that are very supportive. They actually come over and they help babysit sometimes. But it's hard to explain. I just don't really know how to express to them what I'm feeling and what's really truly going on. Yeah.
Do any of them have kids that could maybe understand where you're coming from?
One of them does. One of them has a 2-year-old actually. But she does have a husband, and they have a very traditional household. It is a little bit different for them versus for Jane and I, since we did use a sperm donor to have Fred and George. So I feel like they can't really relate as much with our situation. I know that they probably could, but I just don't feel like it would be the same.
So, speaking on your diagnosis for anxiety, you said that you hadn't been taking your medication. How long ago was that?
I was diagnosed with anxiety in 2013. I'd say it's been about 2 years since I took my medication for that. I was most recently diagnosed with seasonal depression also. I am not on any medication for that though, so I haven't taken anything for that.
So do you think with the winter months coming up that your depression could possibly be getting worse? Which season?
Oh yes, for sure. It's definitely during the holiday season that it gets the worst, especially with family not being around. It's hard to really feel at home and feel welcome. It's going to be hard to adjust also with Fred and George in our lives now. I just don't really know what to expect with this season coming up.
So, tell me about work. You said that you were a nurse.
I love my job and I would love to get back to it, but I have not been able to work since I had the boys. So it's been about 6 months since I've been at work. So I'm just not entirely sure how to get back into caring for people whenever I just know that I'm not in the best mental state to give that kind of care to people.
Yeah, I understand that. So when you said that you're a burden on your wife, let's talk about that. How are you feeling on that? Could it be financially or emotionally?
Definitely at least both of those. Financially, because I haven't been at work. I am getting, maternity leave and I am getting paid for that, but she's also working and I know it's not the same for her. I know ever since I had the boys, I've just been an emotional wreck, and I know that not taking my medicine is just giving into that also. I just don't know if she would truly understand where I'm coming from with all the things I have on my plate.
So what would you think to some future sessions with your wife, Jane?
I think that it would be good. I think that would probably help us a good bit. I don't know though. I feel like we would need to both talk about our needs and our problems individually before we could talk about anything together.
So maybe a few more sessions like this, and then maybe some separately with Jane, and then maybe y'all coming together, or...
I think that would work. That sounds good.
Well, let's think about 3 objectives that you could do to be able to get back on the right path. So you say you want to get back to your job, so what could help you get back to that? Because I know you'll need someone to look after the boys,
right?
And finding a daycare or a babysitter that could help with that would be tremendous. And medication. So how do you feel about starting back on medication?
I think that would be a good idea. I'm just scared about how it makes me feel sometimes, especially with having 2 different diagnoses now, having to take medication for both of them. I wouldn't mind trying something out just to see if, I can try and get back to where I used to be. But I think that medication would be a good idea to start back with.
Okay, and maybe looking to connect with your family and maybe getting them out here to visit y'all maybe a little bit more often, because I know that even though you have Jane's family here, it's not the same as having your own here and supporting you. So maybe some communication with your side of the family. And what would you think about maybe keeping a journal of how you're feeling every day, since it is you at home with the boys and you really don't have anyone else to talk to until Jane gets home? What if you had something like that?
I actually think that'd be a pretty good idea. I mean, I enjoy, talking about what's going on and how I'm feeling, but sometimes, like I said, I feel like I'm a burden to Jane whenever I am just talking about myself and how I'm feeling all the time. So probably a journal would be a good idea for me to talk about everything that I'm feeling on a daily basis.
Well, I know today is a Tuesday and you had to find a babysitter for the boys, but how about we continue this next Tuesday at 11 a.m.
That sounds good to me.
Okay. And then we can just go from there, and if you'll just sign those forms, and we'll see each other next week.
Sounds good. Can I borrow your pen?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.